Today's video is all about Axelar, one connection, limitless possibilities. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals, the team, the tokenomics, the utility, and the overall value proposition, trying to figure out whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins are looking for opportunity. And the question is Axelar an opportunity? Guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive today, looking into the project, obviously skimming through all the fundamentals. What is this project all about? Should we be bullish? Should we be bearish? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And more importantly, we're going to be taking a retail investor perspective, right? Does the website, the paper, the white papers, you know, the socials and everything give us everything we need to be fundamentally bullish so that the retail investor feels comfortable to deploy their capital into the project? Now, of course, there's going to be some aspects that we're going to have to dig around. So, of course, be patient here. We're going to try to use the website as our main platform to navigate the project. So I'm hoping that the team has done a great job, you know, basically giving us everything we need. So let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the first landing page. We got a nice introduction, the MAVIA development stack. So they got a new stack coming out. Is the first and only holistic interoperability platform that is permissionless, trustless, and decentralized. Okay, so a family of open tools and protocols that unlock the entirely new omni-chain design space. So what's the main value proposition here for Axelar is cross-chain interoperability. Okay, that's the main concept here, and this is what we have to kind of like premise everything that we talk about, you know, in the video. Now we have to kind of premise it around that. That's its main core, you know, value proposition. Now, as we scroll down, we try to get more evidence of what the project is all about. Interchange token service, programmable interoperability layer that automates complex multi-chain deployment and management, an amplifier, a set of tools and libraries that enable integrators to easily connect on-chain and off-chain capabilities to the Axelar network, and a virtual machine, a robust tokenization platform that preserves native-like fungibility and functionality across connected chains. So we can see that it offers development tools, right? And obviously we understand that different chains have their different ecosystems, and different chains have their own languages, their own contract language of basically how they deploy smart contracts and all of that. So what they're offering is tools to allow the bridge of those different chains and ultimately offer you know, a network of possibilities where we can be interoperable amongst different chains, which is obviously something that a lot of us want because it reduces barriers to entry, or barriers of which we can, you know, transfer our wealth and our coins and our tokens across different networks. So this is what we really are looking for here is, you know, what type of tools does Axelar offer from a development perspective? Coming soon, open interoperability semantics with Open Zeppelin. That's coming soon, but I think that it may be already there, given that they do have or are promoting a relationship with Open Zeppelin, which is, to make it simple, our boilerplate for deploying EVM compatible, you know, smart contracts, right? So I don't know if Open Zeppelin deviated from that a little bit, if they got into different smart contract platforms to offer boilerplates or not. But basically, that's what that is, which is a good thing. Obviously, Axelar is in the business of allowing chains to cross-chain, right? Obviously, and, you know, Open Zeppelin offering that is obviously great. It's good. Flexible augmented economy security via Eigenlayer. That's a good one. It's a project that a lot of people are buzzing about lately. So sure, is it a strategic partnership? Maybe, maybe not. I'm really trying to zone in on, you know, strategic partnerships here to see what exactly, and I think the Open Zeppelin could be a really good one. Flexible augmented economic security via Babylon. Okay, you know, economic security, sure. A little bit more detail would be great. You know, is this clickable? No, it's not. So that's unfortunate. Projects using MDS today. So we have Sui, Ripple, Base, BNB. These are chains that are already looking for interoperability. We know that. Of course, we know that. I'm surprised that, we are obviously identifying the need to have even Solana chain being interoperable and many others. But EVM compatibility is a lot easier, right? Because of the Solidity based language that it uses. It makes it a lot easier for that interoperability. So that's fine. That's good. They got a blog that gives you a bit of details. We're going to kind of look at that and see what kind of info they offer and how current. I can see that based on this, their last post may be October 3rd, 2024, which is a long time. It's a long time. It's old, outdated. Maybe there's new ones. I do see a bit of documents, developers, and their documentation is quite interesting. However, it doesn't really check all the boxes for me. And I'm going to be clear about that. It doesn't mean that it's not good. It just doesn't check all the boxes because, from a technical perspective, a lot of the times these projects do a very good job. Either provide all the technical documentation. However, from a Web3 perspective, from a cryptocurrency perspective, mostly from a Web3 perspective, a lot of these projects don't realize that they need to package this up for the retail investor in a way that is more hospitable for the retail investor, right? So for deep dives, for example. So this is why I'm here, trying to amalgamate some of this information and provide it to you in a very easy way to digest. So we're going to kind of take a look at this, explore docs. Let's open this up in a new tab. I got lots of tabs already open for you guys, so bear with me. As we keep on going down, we do see that we have others like docs, and I think that's what I already opened. I'm hoping that's the case, and which I already kind of have. I already have some open already. Ecosystem, we have that. Enterprise partners, Squid, liquidity routers, okay. That's their ecosystem. They do have an internal ecosystem. It's just, we have to understand that it's going to be very hard for it to distinguish its internal ecosystem with its external ecosystem. Its external ecosystem is a direct correlation with its success. If its external ecosystem is great, that means, they have a lot of chains on board that are interoperable, that work in interoperability or are basically working together through the Axelar interoperability capabilities, which is good. That means that Axelar is doing a good job, right? It has a value proposition. It's attracting chains. It should do very well. However, what does it do? What does it offer internally as a project itself? Okay, so we're going to try to focus on that because the premise behind this deep dive, obviously, is to figure out why is it important for us to own the Axelar token, the AXL token? Why do we want that? Why is it useful? What's the utility? What's the necessity for us to buy the token? Now, from a tech perspective, it could be awesome, but from a utility perspective of using Axelar, what's the necessity? Okay, so we'll try our best to do that. I do see a white paper here. I'm afraid of having duplicate tabs, but we'll do our best here to navigate all of this. I think I already have this one open, but let's kind of move forward. Now, if you look at the documentation page, docs.axelar.dev, you can see that there's a lot of different things happening here. And for me, it's not the greatest when you have so much and yet to offer so little. What I mean by that, it's a little bit disorganized. Like if you go to token, stake Axelar, okay, great, you got some info, validators, lots of info, but you can see that this is a very tech-based white paper or a documentation, very tech-based, which is a tech project. That's great, but what about Web3? What does it give us? Let's kind of go through this. Static configs, how does this help? What does this tell us about API? Okay, cool. Axelar scan. Okay, you can get on there. Miscellaneous. Satellite. Okay, what's this? Getting started. Who knows? Satellite is a web application built on top of Axelar network. It provides an easy use interface which enables users to transfer their crypto assets from one chain to another. Okay, so a swapper. MetaMask, what's going on here, how to integrate MetaMask and this and that. So you can see there's a lot of info, but it's not really, if you go community proposals, we'll talk about the DAO and all of that in a second, but you get what I mean. There's governance and all that. That's a utility. That's good. But really, where's the Web3? Where's the tokenomics, right? Where's everything else that we kind of want to see from a Web3 documentation? So it's good. scrape through it, but I'm not finding too much value here as to what I need to get fundamentally bullish. And as we go through, and it continues where we see the white paper. Now I have this open in another tab already, so I'm just going to make sure. What did I just do here? Okay, so let's just go to that one. This is the staking. This is that. Okay, now if you go here, let me quickly X out of there. Introducing Axelar Mobius development stack. We already talked about. It's a new standard for interoperability that was on their main landing page. Okay. Why is it doing that? I just want to get rid of the ad, and it kind of, you know, boots me out. It's okay. We'll keep it there for now. And now you can see that as I scroll through this white paper, quote unquote, this is a white paper, very technical white paper. It doesn't talk about much regarding Web3. It literally is tech-based, completely tech, completely. It gets down to the physics, and we've seen these before. You get down to physics and all of that to see how the blockchain works and all of this that they got going on, designing an open cross-chain network and all of this. This is great. New security. This is good stuff. But again, I think it might be a little bit too deep into the tech rather than to Web3 in general. Economics, we want to know about the team. We want to know about the roadmap. We want to know about so many things that it doesn't offer here. This focuses purely on the tech, which is good, of course. You know, you got to diagrams and all of that. But again, this deep dive is not just on that. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got here. We're doing our best to navigate through documentation as best as we can. As we keep on going. So an overview of AXL token economics, the tokenomics. Now, I feel kind of, you know, like I just skimmed through the project. I don't even know what it is. Unfortunately, like I'm not very confident based on what the website provided. What is it? What is the main value proposition other than interoperability? So I'm going to keep on going and try our best here. Axelar is a universal overlay network securely connecting all blockchain ecosystems. Okay, that's what it is. Applications, assets, and users to deliver Web3 interoperability. It is a full stack decentralized transport layer, meeting a growing demand for cross-chain services with maximum blockchain security and composability. Good stuff here. Okay, this is the main idea of what Axelar is. So we can, you know, rest assured that we kind of understand the basics. A decentralized network, okay, 3 components. A set of gateway smart contracts that provide the connectivity between Axelar network and its interconnected external chains. Okay, very important. And software development kit to help protocols create different applications through their APIs. Brilliant. This is what we need, because this is going to help ecosystem growth and integrate more chains into their ecosystem. Okay, so external ecosystem, that is. Okay, so this is good. So we're kind of get the premise. Now, what's important here is assets, the gas fees. Okay, so gas fees are basically paid in the native currency of the actual swap. So, for example, if you want to pay your gas fee with Solanas or whatever token you choose, it will accept that. But in the back end, under the hood, a quick transaction to Axelar's token will happen. So indirectly, you may not see it, but the Axelar token, AXL, will actually be used to drive the network, to actually fuel the network. So it allows developers to build on the best platform for their use case, providing connections to users, access, and data on every ecosystem without excessive gas fees. But it still doesn't remove the need for the native token. The native token is still very valid. Axelar provides an ecosystem with services that otherwise unavailable, expensive, or inefficient. So focusing on inefficiencies and things like that a lot of chains obviously still suffer with because of the gas fee issue. And of course, if transactions are cheap, people are interested. And we've seen this very, very clear when you're comparing the issues that, you know, Ethereum has versus Solana. This is a big thing. And obviously that's obviously you know, an area of debate, but the reality is the gas fee does provide friction, and that's a fact. Okay, so the AXL is a native token of Axelar network, which is important, and it supports critical functions. And the functions, obviously, it's a medium of transfer fees. We talked about that already. And it basically paid by users to basically validate that runs the network. So this is validators run every network in this case. In order to secure the network, we need the validators, and the validators need to get paid. So this is fine. Axelar is used by holders and their proxies to stake and exercise governance. This is a big one because we're talking about, decentralized protocols, but we also want decentralized, governance to decentralize the token, and the liquidity that is available in pools and things like that, in the wallets that are held by the team and this and that. Like, how much of the tokens are being controlled by governance? And this is very, very important. Such a parameter change or protocol upgrade. That this is what's interesting to me, is that I don't see governance given liquidity, right? So is it only for parameter changes or protocol upgrades? Now, something that's quite interesting to me is, in addition, that there's no max supply. Okay, the supply is controlled by a total supply, which is fine. We'll talk about tokenomics more in a second, but ultimately, through governance, more tokens can enter the market in circulation and increase the total supply. Given that there is a max supply, this in general does give a lot of newcomers, especially people that don't like the infinite and start thinking about inflation and all of that. They don't like that concept, but we have to understand that there is a burning mechanism. So AXL enables incentives to support decentralized proof of stake consensus. Okay, that's good. Validators receive AXL rewards as incentives. This is what's going to cause more tokens to enter circulation, the rewards. And it could be infinite amount of rewards can be there based on the growth of the network. And that makes kind of sense. If the network gets so big, more rewards will be issued, but we will be okay with rewards being issued. Why? Because there is going to be more fees generated, and ultimately more rewards, more fees, more rewards, and the cycle continues to the point that as long as demand outperforms supply, the price should go up. And this is the concept. Okay, so like Ethereum, there's infinite supply. Axelar chose to do the same mechanism, but it needs to have a burning mechanism. So these incentives, rewards are distributed programmatically per rules encoded in the network protocols and are inflationary. Okay, each protocol reward increases the total supply, which I already discussed. Right, but what's important is that there is a gas fee, and I'm hopefully, a burning mechanism, which I'm hoping that they get into very quickly, because this can throw people way off. Reward ecosystem builders and community contributors. This is important, obviously. Security, decentralization, longevity, ecosystem growth. This is bullish. Whenever I see that, this concept it's interesting to me. The token economics for AXL are geared towards the creation of token economy that supports the network and the following key outcomes. Okay, that's fine. Genesis allocation. So we have to understand what Genesis means for those of you that don't know. It's the tokens that are basically issued in distribution when the token went live. Okay, so this is important. A good amount of tokens were already issued and already in distribution. At the Axelar Genesis block, 1 billion AXL tokens in total will be issued and allocated in the following stakeholder programs. Okay, so look at here. We got the team, which are, they define the different categories: team, company, backers. A lot of them are self-explanatory, right? The company, which is the actual organization, treasury, and future employees and incentives. So the team, again, a little bit of the team goes into this category, I guess. The backers, early investors, early stakeholders. Then you got the community sale, a public sale that will happen after main net launch, but still these individuals usually get a decent price anyway. And the community programs, testnet, dashboard, wallet, and grants, liquidity for rewards, and so on and so forth. This is meant to provide a little bit of, let's say, incentive for community growth, and obviously those programs will help build a community, and that's important. Now, we have to note that the community program is worth 36% of the tokens. It's a big one, which is totally fine, because if the community is growing, and obviously ecosystem and all of that should have a positive correlation. But if you start amounting the community sale, the company operations, the team, and the backers, which is a good portion, it starts to look like there's quite a bit that are in the, a zone of which early stakeholders have a lot of control of the tokens. Now, I would say company operations should be governed by the DAO. Okay, but there's nothing saying that, governance will control the company operations. For example, we could vote on where certain amounts of this liquidity will be spent within the year, or for what programs, or what liquidity are you gonna, how much liquidity, or are you gonna provide to an exchange, or what exchange fees are you gonna pay, and so on and so forth, right? So these company operations, who calls the shots on them, right? And then you start to say, well, if this liquidity is centralized, where it's dependent on a board of directors that is appointed by founders or and things like that, is very centralized, this portion. So technically it belongs to the team, and this is where things get a little bit iffy. And then early stakeholders, community sale, early, I know it's only 5%, but when you start adding it up, and especially the backers, which we're talking about VCs, that really ultimately their main focus is to quickly get their investment back so they can de-risk, you're going to expect a lot of sell pressure. And the community programs, guys, okay, this is where we're at. Now, just understand, this is only the total supply. Remember, there's an infinite supply. There's an infinite max supply. So at the current moment, or at Genesis, when the billion tokens were released, this was the distribution. Now, the remaining tokens that are going to enter because of the max supply are going to be purely rewards. And eventually, we will see that rewards will be a greater portion of the tokens in circulation as the Axelar program and the project keeps on growing and rewarding individuals, and then ultimately making these percentages a lot smaller. This is what we have to understand. And in the meantime, we'll see teams, taking profit, and backers distributing their tokens, obviously also taking profit, and so on. And these tokens will eventually get distributed amongst many wallets in the crypto space that want to buy the dip as they create that sell pressure. And this is how we have to understand the difference between a max supply and a total supply, and what happens when you have a max supply and an inflationary structure requires a burning mechanism in order to keep the inflation at bay. Okay, so let's continue going down. Let's see if we get some more information here. Company, again, quite a bit. Core team is 17% of that, and the company operations is 12.5. The company operations, in my opinion, should be clearly, governed by the DAO and the governance, and I don't see anything about that. We have multiple series of seed rounds and different funding by backers. That's a significant amount. And again, 30, including insurance fund and all this kind of community programs. Good stuff, fine. But guys, I just don't like all this other numbers. It doesn't seem very fair of a launch. Now, we know the value of VCs. They're going to pump bags, okay, guys? They're going to pump bags. They're going to have the marketing dollars. They're going to have the connections. They're going to do what it takes to pump our bags, but we got to be really clear. They're going to be taking profit too. And so this is why we got to have a very, very clear exit strategy, and don't take too much risk, especially when the market is frothy. We know we're not dealing with that right now. The market is definitely not frothy, particularly the altcoin market, guys. So, yeah, this is the name of the game. We should be focusing on opportunity, okay? So Genesis token release schedule. Now, I know I said that those tokens, again, I'm going to go back to the visuals, are highly controlled or are going to pass through these categories. However, I have to also be clear that they are going to be vested, right? So there's a schedule on how those tokens are going to get released. So we can say, yes, the team and so on and so forth are going to get these tokens, but they're going to get them slowly. They're not going to get them all at once, and we're going to mitigate the sell pressure and the risk of dilution by a vesting schedule. So the release schedule is linear over the 4 years, and there's some asterisks here that you can look over. We can see most of them are linear. All of them are linear over 2, 6 months, 4 years, and so on. So there's a moment of time of which you can clearly see a slow release of tokens. And TGE, beginning of TGE, we're I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, when was TGE? I do have that, guys. I do have that for you on the infographic that I'm going to show you in a second. But you can see that we're ramping up release, guys. We're definitely releasing a lot of tokens. There's community sale. We got the backers are getting a bunch of tokens in a very steep way right now. You can see that community programs, okay, and the community sales everybody's eating right now, unfortunately. But are they selling? That is the question. Are they selling now, or are they going to wait to see an altcoin season? Are they going to see where Bitcoin takes this market? Ultimately, this is the main thing. Would these guys be investing and taking the risk just to sell early, or are they going to wait to see what happens in this cycle in order for them to sell the top? And this is a very strong thesis that we should have right now, because yes, the market right now is not looking the greatest. This could be the final shakeout. But the reality is we didn't get an altcoin season yet. And based on that premise, it could be that we see a lot of these individuals that got their tokens within the last couple of years, they're not going to be selling yet. Okay, so just keep an eye on those wallets. Keep an eye on what happens when things get a bit frothy out there. Circulating supply and total supplies. This is where things can get a little bit interesting. Plus the number of tokens minted as rewards. The rewards injected in the system are unlocked from the moment that they are minted by the protocol. The rate at which rewards are issued is subject to factor, including the amount of stake delegated, the number of connected chains, the governance choices, some parts of the network fees collected by the net. So there's a mechanism behind how many tokens are going to be issued as rewards. Okay. Example, circulating supply. All tokens, including lock tokens, are staked in early 15% APY. That's quite high. Okay, so this is a reward system of 15%, which is quite high. Company operations and community programs token unlock over the exact 4 years. Are they going to go into the governance program, or are they going to be governed by the team? I don't know who's calling the shots on some of these company operations tokens, right? That liquidity is right now up in the air. Please note that delegation of lock tokens are currently planned, but this may change technical feasibility constraints. Okay, so we're seeing a bit of this. Axelar circulating supply, release tokens and rewards. This is how they're going to get reward structure and basically how they're going to get emitted. We got a lot more here. Having Genesis allocation, sample AXL token supply. This is a sample, so projection perhaps over the billions of tokens over the next little while are going to be, I think, slow and steady, of course. And that's that. Now, I am sure they have something to do with their burning mechanism. Let's see if I can do a quick search here. Let's see if I can find the search function. Find. Let's see. Let's type in burn. Oops. Burning parts of the supply. Here we go. Okay, that's perfect. Let's see. So you can see that some parts of the network fees collected by the network may be used towards burning parts of the supply, in which case it is possible that the network becomes deflationary. So it is clearly an inflationary protocol based on their own words and their tokenomics. However, it is possible that it may be deflationary through a burning mechanism. Now, the burning mechanism, is definitely going to possibly be governed by the DAO, and how that gets implemented and voting and so on may kind of like create that framework and create that deflationary possibility. But at the current moment, that is obviously something that would be nice to have some clarity on that. That's not enough clarity. Okay, so this page does a pretty good job giving you a sense of what the tokenomics are. And you can see there's some summary of a list of changes. There's some things, but this is a little bit, I want to just be clear about the problem with such documents, right? Especially when there's not a working document like a Git book, is that, from March 3rd, 2022, this is historical right now. This is like a history book right now. This is a chapter in a history book. This is old, severely outdated, and it makes me lose confidence in what I'm reading. And you got to admit that's the case. Okay, so I'm going to put stress here and pressure that, a typical white paper, first of all, is not listed on Medium, number one. Number two, it is not outdated by years. Number three, it seems like all of this data is, clearly being ignored, and to keep it up to date and provide us the latest and greatest information. If you want the retail investor to want to put their capital, you can have this. This can't be it. We can't rely on this. Okay, so let's take a look at some third-party data. I usually use this website to kind of give me some understanding of what's happening with the token unlocks. And as we go down, you can see that tons of unlocking has been happening already. We've seen the community program getting their tokens little by little. We are about 60% already unlocked, or 40% is still being released a little by little, emissions, bit by bit. The company is already getting their emissions. These are already unlocked already. So the question is, where are they? Are they being right now stored in a wallet and ready to get offloaded? And when are they going to get offloaded? So just because they're unlocked doesn't mean they've been sold. They could still be in the wallet. It could be in any wallet right now. Just that there's no sell pressure because they maybe didn't sell yet, right? And this is what we have to understand. Will they be selling in a bull run? Are we in a bull run? Company operations, again, lots of them already being unlocked based on the total. Remember, this is a max supply scenario. And according to the tokenomics, the max supply, the total supply will only increase via rewards, which is fine, and it's programmatically into the protocol. But at this current moment, we're reaching the tail end of the unlocks in both community and company operations. So again, I don't know who's in control of these tokens right here. These tokens could be in a wallet right now, and they may not have been spent yet. And I can see based on their marketing efforts that they didn't spend much on marketing yet, unfortunately, because this is why I'm seeing a lot of the socials. Their socials are not very strong. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. But you can see lots of unlocks, even in the company, the team, about 50% way through, they're getting paid. So a lot of the people right now are getting paid here, guys. And I showed you that on the chart, and I'll show you that again. We got the public sale, which already unlocks, fully unlocked already, and linear lock is already a lot of unlocks, guys. Public sale, a lot of these are already unlocked. So there's a lot of tokens already in circulation. However, if you kind of see here, 23% is already locked, still locked up, whereas we got a good portion, about 60% are unlocked. Again, total market cap, we're talking about max supply, what's going to happen there, and so on and so forth as rewards hit the market. But at least the rewards that hit the market are going to be in direct correlation with the success of Axelar, because success means that there's transactions equals rewards is a direct correlation to success. So I'm okay with that. I understand this. You can see that a lot of the majority of the release, look at this incline, right? A lot of tokens being released in the last little bit. We're tapering down just a little bit, but still, we still got some more tokens to be released in a very healthy schedule. Timetables right here. You can see we got these categories that are still going to get emitted and the timeline. So I would say this, that the risk of dilution is not crazy. It's not that bad. Okay, guys. Just understand that those wallets are still holding a bunch of tokens. Now, I would like to see if we can get quickly into, I want to do this very briefly because of course they have their Axelar scan. We can probably do let's see what the Axelar scan looks like. Let's open it in a new tab. Let's do a little bit of this, see how well this is created, see if we can start looking at wallets. A bit slow here. These are the different chains, the network graph. That's pretty cool. I kind of like what they offer here. Volume, transactions, that's cool. I would like to see what Etherscan looks like for a second. I want to see here. They're deployed on all kinds of chains. Of course, it's a cross chain, right? If we look at the Etherscan right here, let's see what's going on there. This is ETH Explorer. Okay, there's no Etherscan, is there? Right here. I like Etherscan. I'm so used to it already. I know how to navigate it very well. Here we go. We go to holders. We can get an idea here. We can go to holders, and we can see the categories, different categories. Top wallet 20%. What is this wallet? I can see it's an address. I see this is Binance for liquidity. I'm not sure where this is coming from, but we can obviously speculate that some of these wallets are going to be still some of that liquidity that needs to enter the market. And of course, a bit of investigation of what this should be transparent. This should be provided by the team as to what these tokens are all about. Okay, so or these wallets are all about. So these are a little bit interesting, but they're most likely going to be project team wallets, and that's very normal. Okay, so the token distribution is not that bad. You can see that, but I'm curious about what this is. Okay, so they're not contract wallets, are they? I don't see that. See the address. I don't see any contract wallet here. Like this one, for example. See, that's a contract wallet. I don't see that here. We can see lots of exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, lots of stuff there. So that's pretty good. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else we got here. Let's move on. That's tokenomics, a little bit there. I went through a bit of white paper stuff. We got this. We went through that. This is the best we can get right now as far as tokenomics, unfortunately. We got this. Okay, let's talk about their ecosystem projects. Now, it's a lot of external. Let's be real about that. It's a lot of external use case. Why? Why? Because it's basically an interoperability, right? It's going to bring in all kinds of chains and so on. And if you go scroll through all of this, you're going to see that, right? You got a lot of that support. Now, we got wallets. It should accept a lot of wallets, different wallets. It has to. That's part of it. It has to make that barrier to entry or frictionless connections between different chains and options, right? So we got a lot here with DeFi, typical DeFi, Uniswap, SushiSwap, covering Ethereum and EVM compatible projects for them. We got Spooky Swap for Phantom and S for Sonic, and not bad, Lido and so on. So this is pretty good. DIDX, an aggregator of some sort, which is good. And then the different wallets, like I said, and enterprise, we got this MasterCard, Microsoft. Okay, I don't know what that's all about, but Ondo, okay, real assets, that's a big one. Circle, Providence, infrastructure. What do we got here? Any good ones? Immutable, of course, Immutable, Cetify, Launchpad. I'm wondering what's that, what is that infrastructure, how they provide infrastructure there, but that's fine. That's that. What else do we got? Gaming and NFTs. We got some good stuff here, but again, are these strategic partnerships? They're not. These are relationships. I get it. I give them a lot of, kudos for that. But the reality is these are not strategic partnerships. These are integrations. These are relationships. These are the way they are becoming interoperable is these relationships here. It is a matter of, Axelar being an aggregator of different relationships, if you think about it. Interchain token. This is XDeFi wallet. This is a popular wallet that's been doing pretty good in the last little while. Obviously nothing like Phantom wallet, but it's pretty good. I kind of like it. And AI, we got a little bit more repetition all over this place. Kyber swap, and that, guys, a lot of repetition on these relationships, and that concludes that. So their ecosystem, primarily, they realize that their ecosystem is pretty much an external ecosystem, and these are the chains. Work with any asset on any chain, selected chains. These are the chains that it supports, and you can imagine that if it's EVM compatible, it's going to be easy to integrate, right? Obviously, and that's that. So we got a lot of different relationships here. As far as integrations go, what else do we got here? JP Morgan Onyx can rebalance large portions of your tokenized assets on chain. This is bullish. This is one of the most recent, I would say, strategic relationships, partnerships that it may have. This is really good, and I also like the what's it called, the boilerplate one, I'm forgetting its name right now, but it's super bullish, the one that we talked about in previously. Let's move on. This is what I was talking about before, some relationships, and this is their DAO. So this is part of their internal ecosystem, things that they've built to improve or provide value for the Axelar ecosystem, particularly under their umbrella, right? So this is their DAO. This you can vote, you can go in and see different categories, you can provide some discussions, proposals, and vote on the proposals. You can see it's quite active. There's a community being built here by token holders, and you can kind of see what people are talking about, what they're complaining about, what they want to see changed, where their focus is on. It almost is like a roadmap, but reality is it doesn't substitute a roadmap, because the roadmap by the team will tell you where the team is focusing. Where's the team looking at the current moment? And although voting is also great, it does take time, and it doesn't tell you where the team is actually heading in which direction, right? So we gotta put a bit of value into there. Again, powered by Axelar. This is an internal utility that it has. It is a swapper, essentially. You go in here and you can swap around different tokens that it supports, which is bullish, which is good, and a part of its internal ecosystem. What else we got? We got different news, relying on a blog section that they have on their website. We have announcing Axelar Collective, a hub for innovation, creative, and research. Different projects. TON, Axelar selected by TON for open interoperability. Okay, is this a relationship? Yes, it is. Is it a partnership? Nah, neither is this, neither of all these. Like, we got Open Zeppelin. Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier about that relationship. I think this could be a good partnership, more strategic, because it's going to help their back end with regards to providing interoperability and the creating of smart contracts and ecosystem growth. So for me, this is an interesting one. Good news to read about it, but it's August 20th, 2024. Now, what's going on there, guys? Is there no more that we can be bullish on? Is there nothing nothing else. And news, news is something, should be something new, right? And it doesn't seem like it is. I think the latest that they got going on, or their earliest, October 3rd, getting started, and then they got a couple others, recent posts. Let's see what's their most recent, January 16th, and the amplifiers, decentralized governments with new blockchains, okay, and so on and so forth. So there's some good, at least they're documenting things. It's not bad, but okay, I don't know. You guys do a bit of reading to see where they're going with things on their blog. Could be pretty good. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything too exciting from that perspective. Now the roadmap, guys, is completely pretty much obsolete. Axelar Networks roadmap ends in 2024, and there's no future or discussion of future here, unfortunately. So really bad. This is not a good sign. This is not, and the fact that I got to go bouncing around from blog post to blog post is another problem. Like, you got to really dig around for this information. Is not retail friendly at all. So a Git book, this is what they need. Let's keep on moving on. What else do we got? We got the teams. You expect that the team page has some information about the team, right? Well, we get here and all I see is this. I don't see that. Okay. Ecosystem teams. This is confusing. What is this? The different teams that belong to their ecosystem, connected platforms, DApp ecosystem, interop labs. Okay. Maybe these are sub teams, and then they jump right into the community. Who is part of the team? I wouldn't know. Now, of course, you dig around a little bit, and then you can find out that there is some team members that we need to focus on. Okay, so I feel like this deep dive so far is really disjointed. I'll be honest. I do a lot of deep dives, right? And when I kind of look through all of this, I'm like, the team could do a better job packaging themselves for the market, especially for a retail investor. I don't see this well balanced. This website is everywhere, right? There's clickable links everywhere and things everywhere, and it's just very disorganized. So I think I like the style, I like the way it looks and presents, but there's too much happening here, guys, and not enough cohesiveness on how they distribute information. It's just a bit of a mess. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here on LinkedIn. A fully doxed team is one of which has a LinkedIn profile. That's what I kind of define. Even if they had it on the website, it would be a good starting point, but I want to see where they're at with their profile on LinkedIn. This is the Axelar network page. If you go on here, you click people, you can see that there's some individuals, right? We got ecosystem lead on Axel, Marcin Powell. We have Sergey, is hiring. he's another one. I think this is a builder. He's a builder, growth, marketing. Sure. We have more growth, team lead, affiliate. Affiliate. Sure. We got some other individuals and co-founder. Sure. I'm not sure if he's the co-founder or if he's the co-founder of this co-founder, professor. Sure. And we got some other stuff here, guys. Lots of individuals here, a decent team. We got lots of talent. I can see that managing director and so on and so forth. The problem is when I start looking into the individuals themselves. Marcin Powell, ecosystem lead, no information, right? Very little information. Advisor at Salt. Head of ecosystem prime protocol. I'm not even sure what that is. Maybe I should do some research on that. But that's about it, right? That's pretty much it. Now, if we go on, you see Sergey, another very bland, almost non-existent profile. We don't know what it is about, what he does, what he did, where is he going, none of that. And then we keep on going, and then we start to say that, well, what about the foundation itself? Now, the governance part of things, who do we start looking for? These are people. Now we can see that there's nothing really happening either. We have Georgios, co-founder at Axelar. Let's open this up in a new tab. I think I may already have that. Let's see. Yes, I do. So you can see right here, we start going down, and there's no profile here. Nothing whatsoever. Very little. Co-founder Axelar, head of mathematics at Algorand. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll be honest. At least there's some back end here with regards to Algorand. That's some good experience. Okay, but you can see that a profile, makes you fully doxed. It's like semi-doxed here right now. They are doxed. You got names, but you don't know much about them and their history. MIT is bullish, of course, but we need a little bit more here, guys. It would be nice to showcase your talent and so on. So if we backpedal a little bit and we go back a little bit, there was an individual, this dude right here. I would like to know a little bit more if I can find something. about him. Because of course a little bit of bullishness, knowledge graphs, data integration, machine learning. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe this is the talent that we're looking for. University of Waterloo, this is a pretty heavyweight university out of Canada, so they do recruit or basically yeah, train a lot of talent in the tech field. Advisor board member at Axelar and Apple distinguished engineer. So this is good. Okay, we got some talent. As you can see, if you dig a little bit, you can find some decent talent. And of course, guys, this is what we do. We research and try to figure out, is there an edge, based on, the team. What else do we have here? Who's this individual? Let's just keep on poking around. Is this an Axelar team member? Justin. Let's see. I don't, maybe not. I don't see any AWS. This is not one. Okay, so look, guys, it's just about researching it. Are you bullish on the team? A little bit more information would be awesome, of course, but there's not that much. So, guys, as I conclude, I wish Axelar had a little bit more marketing and a little bit more community engagement. I like what they're trying to achieve here. I just feel like their packaging for product market fit is lacking a little bit. As you guys know, I do provide a infographic for you guys when I do the deep dive. So this is it. As you can see, Axelar, definitely interesting, definitely something that should be on your radar. A lot of people talking about it. Let's talk about its ecosystem. Axelar virtual machine, interchain amplifier, interchain token service, and the DAO. These are things that they have going on internally, and I would suggest that you do research on what's going on here. Just understand that their token right now is working in as a within the back end significantly when it comes to transaction fees. Okay, so it's utility, governance, staking, transaction fees, and the gas relay. This is what I'm talking about. It's an economic, it's basically a mechanism of which an individual could use any token for gas fees. However, under the hood, Axelar token is the one that actually does the gas. Okay, so you don't see what's really happening, but Axelar is being transacted and those fees are being generated, which is bullish. That's the utility. I think that this token has great utility. Its ecosystem is there. In fact, what you would say is that its external ecosystem is more valuable than its internal ecosystem. But the way I define ecosystem usually is internal only. External would be its relationships, right? And because it's interoperability play, that these categories that I created are a little bit blurry here. So we'll try our best to use the same categories and undo or focus on the blurriness. The roadmap, there's no roadmap, guys. It's outdated. It's definitely outdated. It needs an upgrade. Roadmaps for me, are very important. I want to know where the team is going with things. The team is doxed to a degree. There's a little bit more profile would be good. LinkedIn profile has no details, very little details amongst the team. Large team, but little information. That's the general consensus for me. It's still a decent team. We got some good talent, but a little bit more would take me over, to a 10 out of 10. And that's what we want, especially when you don't have a roadmap. Is the team doing the right thing? If we don't know the team and they don't have a roadmap, where's the team going? At least let's trust that the team is strong enough that they are going in the right direction without telling us, I guess, if you get what I mean. The socials for me is the biggest problem here, guys. For me, it is. They only have 1,131 followers. Unfortunately, that's not a lot. Now, I'm not sure what's going on there, if they had a different social account or not, but this is their official one. And they've only received 139 followers in the last 30 days. I'll admit the last 30 days have been rough in this crypto space. So yeah, it could be a scenario where we have to be patient. More excitement when we have bullish price action, more followers and so on, but they are down 27% and they have 0 posts in the last 30 days. So what's going on there, guys? What's going on there? A bit of an issue. And I went on their socials and it's not active. There's nothing happening. Where are they putting their marketing dollars and where are those VC funds going? I know they're listed on major exchanges, which we'll get to in a second, but a bit of a marketing plan or a bit of marketing would be great. In communications, their website is all over the place. There's too much happening all over the place. They need a Gitbook. Again, a Gitbook will help package it up in a Web3 manner, and this is what we need. Tokenomics should be in that Gitbook. 51.5% of TGE will be allocated to early stakeholders. So the tokens that were released at early phases will run through early stakeholders. amongst various categories. However, there is a vesting schedule that is going to slowly release those tokens, and those tokens at this current moment are in wallets. And the reality is the risk of dilution happens when those wallets decide to pay themselves and to sell. Are they going to do it now? I don't think this is the main objective at this current moment, right? I think they may do it at the top of the bull run, right? If they do it now, it's probably in anticipation that they could buy back in at lower prices, and then they become traders. And this is when things get a little bit ugly for the team, when these wallets start selling, even if they got vested and they were vested and they got them slowly. If they all sell all at once, we're going to see sell pressure. So I'm not trying to FUD here. I'm just trying to be real about what happens with tokens that get emitted slow and steadily over a year or two and get accumulated into one wallet. They hold a lot of control over the price if they sell. Okay, so just keep that in mind. How company operates, the company operations, 12.5%. How are they governed? I don't see any information about that. Like, are they governed by the team? Are they governed by by the governance token, or the by the DAO, or what's going on there? I would like to know a little bit more. I know it's not a lot of tokens, but it is a significant amount at this current moment. Unlimited supply, as a basically the max supply is unlimited. As rewards enter in circulation, there's going to be more tokens entering. However, the burning mechanism needs to be super clear. Is it going to be completely community driven, where the DAO is going to judge or create a plan when it's required to become deflationary? At this moment, it's completely inflationary, and they make it very clear that they're inflationary, and they understand and they accept. That's fine. But what about the burning mechanism? They're also open to that, but there's no detail. Now, maybe it's not time for that detail, but I need the detail, guys. I want to know what's going on there. If there is one, there should be one. Even if it's not the strongest, there should be something to keep things stable, especially as we are seeing tokens enter circulation with rewards. Maybe there's not that many rewards at the current moment, so they're not worrying about it. Unfortunate, though. Relationships. There's a lot of good relationships. I'm not going to call them partnerships. I'm going to call them relationships. The ones that interest me most are the most recent and the ones that offer the most for ecosystem growth. The JP Morgan, I know that's a traditional finance institution, but it's still interesting because we know that a lot of those institutions are focusing on real world assets, and Onyx is the focus at the current moment. Open Zeppelin, a smart contract development, play here for Open Zeppelin. For EVM, it focuses usually on EVM compatible. I don't know if they're slowly diversifying into different smart contract boilerplates or not, but it's still bullish, and they have many great relationships across the field. It particularly, like I mentioned, Axelar's main bread and butter, their focus is an aggregator of relationships. There are interoperability is the focus. So in order to be interoperable, they definitely need to have relationships across all chains. And this is what they're doing. They have many great relationships. So bonus right there. And exchanges, they're stacked. They're good. Coinbase, KuCoin, Mexi, Uniswap, Gate, BingX, and more. They have the two heavyweights. There's no more growth here in the sense that to expect a listing to cause the price to flourish even further. This is where they're at. I don't think there's any opportunity to expect a listing and a pump right there. So a good 10 out of 10 means that you have liquidity available to you, and a low score here is also an opportunity because an exchange listing can cause a pump. So either way, it's a win-win. So as of yesterday and so on, we've been getting a bit of market fluctuation in the last little bit. So the price may not be accurate in the market cap and so on, but just take this as a a general number. The market cap is $500 million market cap, which is still a small cap altcoin. It's not a large cap whatsoever, especially considering where we are in this market. Trading volume is quite low. I like to see a little bit more. At least 10% of the market cap would be ideal. Max supply is infinite, but the total is 1.2 billion at the current moment. And ultimately, we got to be really clear that the total supply, the fully diluted is 652 million right now. Is it overvalued? The market cap in the fully diluted is quite balanced, so I'm okay with that. But ultimately, as we know that this max supply is infinite, we are going to see a little bit more tokens entering as people get rewarded. So this is where we're going to have to stress that we need a burning mechanism. The burning mechanism is going to make it, anti-inflationary, which is something that is important to a lot of us. We don't want inflation, guys. We want our tokens to stay strong and valuable. Okay, so it is an interoperability cross-chain play. bridge, if you want to call it that, swapper cross chains, okay, as TGE was in September 26, 2022. A lot of their documentation is still dated in that time, which is very unfortunate because it shows the lack of communication and the lack of marketing, the lack of detail and focus. Guys, the team needs to step it up in this regard. The website is all over the place, like I said. Packaging needs work because you have to like skim through various outlets to find information that are outdated. Crypto Web3 white paper would be useful. A Git book that puts everything that is crypto related under one package, looking at the team, tokenomics, fundamentals, all the things, burning mechanism, all the things that a crypto Web3 enthusiast investor would be looking for. This is what they need, and unfortunately they weren't able to identify the need for that, and that's very important. I do deep dives, a lot of them, guys, and based on the data that I've collect, majority of the projects that I cover understand the value of that. Okay, so I think Axelar needs to do a little bit of research, and their marketing team needs to step it up in that regard. The Telegram is not very active. Neither is the Discord. It's pretty much dead in the water. And their X is pretty much non-existent. This is very, very unfortunate. So marketing is struggling and many facets and avenues here, and it's not a good look. Those VCs are putting money in. They need to, basically put some of that into marketing, get a marketing team up in there. So market cap wise, look, it's already a fairly large market cap for what it has going on. In my opinion, it could be considered overvalued. It could be. Now, what I do see is a lot of potential from an interoperability perspective. A lot of native chains already are identifying the need to be interoperable natively, where we don't need a focus or a layer on top to kind of aggregate all the chains like Axelar is offering. However, because they are also providing their own L1 or smart contract capabilities, it technically that's what it is, with a focus on interoperability. So this is where we're at right now. The way the project it markets themselves is as an interoperability play, but I think it could be considered much more than that if it focuses on its L1, as an L1 option as well. So it's pretty good. I kind of like it. And from a market cap perspective, look, if it hits a $2.5 billion market cap, which is going to be considered a little bit high nowadays, hopefully that we get a nice altcoin season where we see the market run, it could do another 5x. I can see that very, very possible, especially with what it's got going on, but not without marketing, guys. It's not going to happen without marketing. Unfortunately, it's going to be looked over. The hottest and new shiny projects coming out right now that are offering cross-chain interoperability natively with their own oracles and dexes and this and that, they're competing with them, and they got amazing marketing packaging, and they're going to compete with them, and my opinion, it's not going to work if they don't step it up. So I can see a $3 target, and remember, this is a price projection. I'm not talking about targets. I don't know where it's going to go. Nobody has a crystal ball, but if the market swells up and we get that altcoin season, I can see it doing a 5x, and I give this project a 7 out of 10. I think it could do a lot better if it touches up on some of these points that I brought up today, but it's not bad. It's not bad. A lot of people think that it's worthy of a bit of their money. A lot of influencers have been talking about Axelar in the last little while. So I am wondering if their marketing dollars are being spent on calls and getting social influencers all involved. And that for me is not a good look either. So I'm a bit on the fence about what's happening there with their marketing strategy. And I'm curious as to where this, ends up playing out. Guys, I know you're to talk about charts. By the way, I'm going to post this all on the social so you can get your hands on this, so you can get those details. But I know you're talking about charts. So let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on here with the chart, because ultimately we want to stay one step ahead. We see the Axelar price right now, definitely falling. Let's kind of zoom in here a little bit more. We saw the market in general. It's not just Axelar, it's the market in general has been taking hits. And the question is, did we find the bottom? Are we done dipping, or are we, going to come down and see an extended bull run, or what should we be preparing for? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. As we speak, guys, we see Axelar is dripping, definitely dripping down. And like I mentioned, it's not just Axelar, it's many projects. Okay, many projects are showing weakness at the current moment, there's many factors, right? Macroeconomics right now are a little bit blurry and tough, a lot of tension across the world. We have some uncertainty with new administrations, political administrations, and so on. Not to get specific, but we have to understand right now the market is not really looking the strongest, particularly the altcoin market. Now, as we see Axelar fall, we see it testing horizontal levels. Now, these horizontal levels, given the way we are, it did break down even further from a descending falling wedge, which is not a good look. Statistically speaking, these should break out bullish over time as they reach the apex. And we broke down, guys. We broke breaking down. And this is something that we've been discussing significantly on the Discord in the last 48 hours, is that the way the market is looking at the current moment, especially leading into market open, it may not be good. The tariffs and all of this is causing a bit of uncertainty, and it could cause the traditional markets, financial markets, to tank as market opens. Now, we do see it hitting horizontal supports. We know the fundamentals. We already talked about it, and we see the price coming down. Now, the question is it undervalued right now? This is the thing. Is what it offers much more valuable than the current price that it is? And since I did the deep dive, the price did fall to 44 cents, guys. My infographic has it at a higher price. Look, the price right now is very volatile because of what has been happening in the market. I think I prepared that infographic right around this level, and then it starts falling like this. A couple of days ago is when I created it, and here we are rolling over and coming down. So the concern is this: do we hold this horizontal level of support? Do we actually hold it? Or do we come down to more critical zones? Now we can see we're actually breaking down. So it's not a good look. We've broken down before. We got a quick recovery, back tested and sprung. This was the time to get in. Do we replicate this sentiment? Do we replicate this type of price action where we are coming down, come back in, back test and spring? And if this is the case, this is where you want to get in. Or else we're coming down here to hunt this liquidity at 31 cents, which is the max pain level from early bear market lows. Okay, so this is the concern. Now, we do see a lot of volume coming in stemming from here. This is a lot of sell pressure coming in on a lot of this, because the trend is generally down after here, right? And there's a lot of sell pressure stemming from here. So look at all this volume. Sell pressure, lots of it. Now, are the bears done selling? That is the concern. We need evidence of that. And there is no evidence, unfortunately, here on the daily. We are seeing that the bears, everybody is selling. We can see the sell pressure is on. We are falling through horizontal support, and we are desperately looking for a change of character in this structure, because the structure as of now is showing lower lows and lower highs. Let's go on the 4-hour here for a second so we can see this in a bit more detail. You can see that we're still in a downtrend, as I defined. We need the change of character. We didn't get it. In fact, we came down and supported a breakdown, a lower low. I wanted to see something that would suggest, okay, maybe we're going to go up for a higher high and then a higher low and then start moving upwards and start calling this a pivot point. But luckily, we only deploy capital when we get the change of character. We want a pivot point. There is no pivot point here. We didn't get it. We totally came down and validated any possible divergence in this downward sloping channel that we got here, if we got any, because we didn't really get much. Only right into here we were getting a bit of divergence. We got overbought, and then, as you can see, let me just kind of scooch this over. Right in here we were kind of moving upwards, and we got a full retracement, one-to-one, right back into oversold conditions here on the 4-hour. Expansion is very bearish, volatility is very bearish, everything is bearish at the current moment here on the 4-hour, and on the daily it's pretty much the same thing, guys. Look at this, coming down to oversold conditions and expanding to the downside. Guys, the market right now is either giving you the best opportunities to deploy capital, or the best opportunities to get wrecked, given the fact that we're not showing any support. So what should we do is wait for structural support. And if you plan on buying anything right now, including Axelar, I would be doing it very slowly, slow and steady, and slowly deploy and build a position, because really we're getting very close to the last line in the sand. I would say right now is the last one of the most important parts on this chart to hold, and the next is down here, because if it breaks below 31 cents, this is dead to me. There's no more, right? So we got to understand what's really happening here This could be classified as a dead cat bounce. Was not a great scenario. Now we did get a bit of roundedness here. Could we get another rounded bottom, as suggesting accumulation for another run up? Guys, this is not rounded bottom. This is trying to catch a falling knife at the current moment. So guys, be careful out there. The market is looking a bit weak. We have a lot of projects coming down at the current moment. Raise capital, deploy slowly, wait for structure, and deploy when we see the change of character. And as per usual, I'll be keeping you updated along the way. Guys, join that Discord. It's absolutely free. There's a lot of good links in the description taking you to all the socials and all that you may need to get fundamentally bullish in this market. Guys, if I've offered you any value here, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. If you want to vote on my next deep dive, guys, on the Discord, there's a place where you can request and vote on the next deep dive for next week. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.